Good evening. Hello. We're back. Hello. Hi all. Oh, I just love when people come. It's just so fun. It just makes it so much fun. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so tonight what we're going to do is the 3 little cookies, if you didn't realize. They're little like sugar cookies, or they're meant to be. So we've got a little gingerbread man, and then we've got a star and a heart. And funny story, one time I did some star wood slice decorations, and I had so many people come up to me and go, "Oh my God, how amazing, that's a pentagram." And I was like, what? It's like just meant to be a star, but okay. But they were buzzing that it was a pentagram. So if you think it's a pentagram, let it be a pentagram, okay? All right, so we're going to use these 4 colors today. They are in the thread bundle. So just real quickly, we're going to do a split stitch around the outside of each one. And I just followed the line. So this one here is like 2 rows, I believe. And this one here is also 2 rows. And then this one here, I did the outside all the way around and followed it around, and then continued to follow it around all the way. And you can tell even in the middle here how it starts to make like a circle almost. So literally you're going to just follow it around all the way. You can tell with the stitches, okay, like this, until it kind of gets to be a bit of a circle in the middle. And I did all of the brown ones here after I did the light brown ones, okay? It might be easier for you to do the dark color first, all right? And then go around it after, because we have these small details here, and it might be something that you fill it all in and then think, oh no, what do I do? Where did I put those? But it doesn't have to be like perfect or anything like that, okay? Honestly, it is dead easy. Do not make it. Don't make it make you nervous. We're using 3 strands for everything today. So take that as you wish. And we're going to do the split stitch and the satin stitch. So just 2 stitches. I'm going to show you really, really easily on, I'll do the star. Then we'll start on the gingerbread man and see how far we get. Okay? So I'm going to do the inside satin stitch first. 3 strands. We're going to make our thread. Put it on our needle. Oh no. That's not Jessie, but she is outside. So however you want to do your thread is totally fine. I had someone yesterday ask if we can do, to make 2 strands of thread, if you can just take 1 really long strand and fold it in half. Obviously you can, if that's the way that you like to do it. I know a lot of cross stitchers like to do it that way. And they do the like no knot start. So next time that we have an even number, I will show you that as well, so that you can use that if you want to, because I didn't actually show it last time. So let's zoom her in. We're going to do this star first. Okay. And with the satin stitch, all it is just straight stitches that are lined up in a row like this. So they are parallel to each other. They're not at an angle in any kind of way. This means they're never going to intersect at all. So you shouldn't have any like crisscross threads or anything like that. Literally right in a row. Okay, all the way up. I find with satin stitch, especially if you have like a bigger area, put some guidelines in. So literally draw right on here some nice straight lines. How nice is that? And that's going to kind of guide you. And that way you know if you start to fill in one side loads and not the other side, and you start to make like a little triangle. Do you know what I mean? Like if your threads are starting to kind of go like this, meaning that you've got a wedge, like a little triangle where it's thicker on this side and there's no space on this side, you know that you are not making parallel straight lines. They're starting to go on an angle. Okay, so let's start. I like to go right in the middle for the starting point, okay? 3 strands, and we're just gonna lay our thread kind of over where we want it to go. Now, a traditional satin stitch is you come up on one side and you go down on the other every single time. Let me just put this a little bit closer so you can see. This one crooked line is like messing me up. I'm like, is that straight? I don't know. So this means that you're going to have the same amount of thread on the front and the back. There's also a thread saver version, which obviously I will show you. Where is this? Where is this here? Nope, not there. Somewhere is quite loose. So I did a yellow star. You can do any color that you want to. You don't have to use the same colors as me. This gives me like traditional sugar cookie, you know, like Christmas cookie icing vibes. Hi, George. And we're just going to continue like this and fill the whole shape. So on the bottom half, I'll show you the thread saver version. And then this top half, I'll show you just the regular version. Guys, I haven't stitched in so long. I feel like I haven't stitched in forever. Like I just did that pattern, like the pattern of the month. Like literally just like finished it a couple days ago. So I don't know why in my head I'm like, that feels so nice. Caught the brick, didn't I? So we're just going to continue like this all the way up to the tip. And your stitches will get a little bit closer together. Well, shorter, not closer together, shorter, because we're filling in the very tip of the star. So as always, if you have any questions, let me know. Type them in the little box at the bottom, and then I'll answer them as we go. There's no stupid questions. So if you feel like I don't want to say because everyone seems like they know each other and everyone seems like they've done this before and I haven't, don't be ridiculous, okay? Put your question in. There's no silly questions. And also, other people might be able to help answer as well. So keep that in mind. So you're just going to go smaller and smaller and smaller until you fill up the bottom part. And then I'll show the thread saver method at the very, very bottom part of this, the bottom half. So you're going to get like a nice, smooth looking area when you're done. And if you've got any threads that are a little bit unruly, or maybe they're kind of sticking up a bit, I'll show you how you can fix that too. Either you can turn your hoop over on the back and give those threads a tug by putting your needle under and pulling them back. Or if it's just a couple, you can always take your needle like this and almost like brush them. I don't know why I said that like a question. Like brush them, maybe? Yeah? Give them a little zhuzh. Okay, so now we're going to do the bottom part. And I'll show you the thread saver method. So we're going to come up from one side, down on the other side. And we're going to come up on the same side over here, right next to it. Now, some people don't like it this because you have to really get the threads quite close together. And sometimes you can come back up through the same hole and therefore unstitch what you've just stitched, if you know what I mean. Okay, but you're just going to keep going back and forth. So up on one side, down on the other, up on the same side, and then go back to the first side. What's this on my thread? A little friend, a little fuzzy friend. Hi from Rio de Janeiro. Hello. I love that people come from all over. It's just so fun. It makes it feel like such a community, even though people are like everywhere in the world. It makes it feel like we all know each other and that like we're all stitching together, and it just makes me really happy, you know? So we'll do one little of the star's legs and then the other one. I don't know why, but it almost looks like these here are like on an angle. Like I've made a little wedge here for some reason. Even though they all looked pretty horizontal, like when I stitched them. For some reason I'm looking at it now and I'm like, you look peculiar. Peculiar. Whatever. You know what I mean. Okay. So now we're going to come pop back up to this side of the one, of the little star. Again, still the thread saver method. So I'm just doing it like this so that you can see the difference on the back and how much thread that you save by doing the thread saver versus doing the regular way. Like I said, some people, they don't like the thread saver method. That's totally fine. I like to teach both because sometimes you get to the very end of your shape and you think, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to have to cut a whole new piece for this. And sometimes that's just really annoying. So you can kind of mix together these, you know, do it the way that you like. And then once you get to the very end, you can think, okay, I actually do want to use like the thread saver because I don't want to cut a whole new piece for just one little bit. Oh no. Okay, so that's pretty good. Let me zoom out for just a moment. We'll flip it over and then you can see. So this up here is the top half. You can see I did the regular method, which is the exact same on the front as it is on the back. Okay, and then the bottom part, I did the thread saver method. And you can see that I just skipped over just one stitch length to continue on the front. So the back is just going to have these tiny little stitches like this going through. Okay, let's do a little knot here, and then I'm going to show you, you're going to do the exact same thing with the heart one. So I'm not going to show that one because it's literally exactly the same. And then we can work on the gingerbread a little bit. Now this one's going to be, again, 3 strands, and we're going to do a split stitch for the outside edge. Can you do a satin stitch if you want to? Obviously, if you want to do that, then do it. But the whole point is to try and teach you a couple new stitches, okay? Especially if you've never done it before. So that's why I've tried to do some new ones that aren't like the main 7 stitches, you know? So we've done those and then like plus a couple extra to like jazz it up. And then we repeat some so that you can get some practice. Because a lot of times you do things for the first time and you think, I'm not good at this. And then you set it down and you don't ever do it again. And that is not the point of this. The whole point is that it's not going to look amazing the first time. Like, it probably will because I'm teaching you. But, like, if it doesn't, don't get yourself upset about it, okay? It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. You just might need to practice a little bit, and that's fine too. Like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's not about being perfect, okay? It's about finishing it and knowing that you made it. Whether you finish it at the end of the 2 weeks, or before Christmas, or before next Christmas, or before the Christmas after that. It doesn't matter, okay? So there's my pep talk. This is making me feel super Christmassy. Oh, I know, I feel like I should put some Christmas music on, but I'm like dead scared that it's going to get like blocked, you know, like with the like IP infringement or whatever it's called, like the copyright things. Okay, so with the split stitch, I'm going to show you how to do it. Just a quick note, I like to start close to the satin stitch instead of starting far away, because then I know I can do like 2 whole go-arounds and they'll be even instead of kind of filling in the extra space. Does that make sense? So like in some areas, it's like much thicker than some other areas. And that way I don't have to go back and like fill in with extra little stitches like here and there. I can just do 2 rounds around the track, if you know what I mean, and then just be done. I don't have to like fiddle around with like, oh, I need to do like 2 extra stitches here and like 2 extra stitches there. Like, ugh, annoying. Okay, so we're going to do a split stitch. You're going to come up, 3 strands, exactly the same as the yellow, and go down. This is going to be quite close to the satin stitch. So you don't want to leave a space. You want to make it like quite close, not overlapping, just right next to it. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. Obviously, I'm going to show you both. The first way is to come up, some people call this a back split stitch, but you're going to come up almost like a back stitch, but instead of going down the same hole right here, like this, you're going to go down into the stitch, into it. So you're going to split this stitch. Can you tell? Can you see? See how my needle's going into the stitch and not into the hole? Looks a bit obscene when it's that close, I'm not gonna lie. But ignore that. So you're going to split that stitch. So what we've got now, let me just zoom in again. We've got 1 full stitch that's not split, and then 1 stitch under it, that this stitch here is going into. It's splitting it. Split stitch. Okay? And then you're going to continue that all the way around. So you're going to go farther up. And now you're going to split into this last stitch that we did. Okay? Now this right here is where if you need to do some smaller stitches, you absolutely can and you should. Oopsies. So you might find, especially around these tight curves, that you are going to need to make a couple smaller stitches. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of this way, then I'll show you the other way. The other way looks exactly the same. It just, instead of coming up ahead of the stitch and going back down into the stitch, you're going to make your stitch, and then the next stitch is going to come up through that stitch you just did, and then you continue moving forward. So you don't ever move backwards. So let's just do a couple of these so that you know how to do it. I both love and hate split stitch because I feel like it takes like 4 times as long as any other stitch because you have to like split each of the stitches, you know? Because you're going into each of the stitches. So instead of, They're almost like overlapping a little bit. Okay. Have we questions about this one? I could tell there's a knot there. I know the colors are very similar, so they might, like, they're not the same color, obviously, but they're like the same color tone, like darkness and lightness, you know? So that might be a bit of a, like, I don't know, Tori, I can't really tell. It's going to look so good. I know. I can't wait to see everyone's. Because honestly, I've like never been more proud of people than when I teach them something and then they can do it by themselves. And I'm like, oh my God, look how good they did. And that is like such a big reason why the first time I did a Stitchalong, I was like, I've got to do more of these because it's so addicting to see people like be proud of themselves and like do it and like relax a bit and just feel accomplished. Like even if they don't do loads, you can just do like 10 minutes, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like 4 hours of stitching like all at one time. You can totally just do like a little bit when you've got a minute and just do a couple little breaths and like have a bit of tea or coffee, or if it's in the evening, like wine if you want to, or like at Morrison's they have this. If you're not from here, it's not gonna make sense, but at Morrison's they have this squash and it's black cherry and vanilla, and it's so good. And I've been putting it with sparkling water and having one in the evening whilst we like do a bit of stitching or like watch our TV shows or whatever. And it's been so nice. It's like such a little treat. You know what I mean? Okay, now I started here, so my knot is here. So we've got to kind of go around that knot. I don't want to go through it. Okay, so let's do the... Oops, that didn't split that one. Let's do the other way to do the split stitch. So I've been doing the back split stitch this entire time. Let's do the other way on this next little go around. And that way you can have a little look of what it will look like. And the other thing about these is like if your star shape isn't super perfect, they're meant to be like Christmas cutout cookies. Okay, like the more homemade the better. I'm not selling these for like $4 a cookie. Okay, I'm baking a ton of them and then sitting in my kitchen and eating them, like shoving them down my throat. So that's the Christmas cookies that I'm making. If you want them to be fancier than that, then you're on your own, sister. Like, I cannot be, no. Another fun story is that my Aunt Judy, she gave me all of her Christmas cookie decorating stuff. And I'm talking like paintbrushes, like tiny little paintbrushes. And she would make these cookies and spend hours decorating them and painting them with the icing, and they would look like works of art. I remember going to her house and being like, are we allowed to eat these? Are they real? Like, what is this? What are they? That stitch was really big. Because they would look like actual paintings, like I said, like works of art. I don't know if my mom's still in the live, but she can attest to it. And I would be like, after you do all that work, how do you eat them? Because I would be like, don't touch it. I spent my time. Leave it alone. Don't even think about it. I'd be like spray painting like clear over all of them and being like, no, we're saving these. These are the good cookies. These are getting like dipped in resin or something. But yeah, there's another pointless Christmas story for you. Okay, so I've got one go around. Remember I said we were going to do two because you can see how much space is kind of left. So if you wanted to fill the whole shape, obviously you can keep going until you fill the whole shape. But I'm just going to do two goes around. Yeah, two circles and like call it a day because you really don't need to have like thicker pieces and thinner pieces if you don't want to. Like, because up here is like quite a bit more than there is like down here, for instance. Okay, so do it as you will. Here is the second way to do the split stitch. So we did the split back stitch here. We'll do just a split stitch like the other way. It looks very similar. You're going to start exactly the same way with one little tiny stitch like that. Okay, but you're going to come up through this stitch instead of coming up ahead of it. You're going to come up into this stitch right here, into it. Okay, so again, I don't think I did a very good job coming into it there. And this is why I tend to not use this way, because you have to split all the stitches or you can see them really easily that you didn't split it, if you know what I mean. So if you look, yeah, I can come up inside that stitch I just did, and then you're gonna go forward. Hello. It has been a minute. I've been a bit busy, you know. Moving house, growing a baby, obviously Jessie. And then you always come up through that stitch, and then you always go forward. Okay, so you're gonna come up again, always up through the stitch, and then forward. So it just depends on how it like flows for you better. Okay, so this is 2 rows. It fills it in really nicely. Not too thick. And we've got 3 strands as well. So just in case you've come late, we've used 3 strands for everything so far. I thought I heard something move and then freaked out a little bit because Jessie's outside. So I was like, what is that? Okay. So yeah, you just keep going all the way around. Are you in the UK? Yes, I am. So we went to the States in the summer for, I think it was like 5 weeks, 5.5 weeks maybe, in the end. And then we came back here. And if you remember, our house that we were going to buy, like 4 days before I left England to go to the States, the realtor called to say they couldn't sell us the house anymore because the guy lost his job, so they couldn't afford their new house, so they couldn't actually move, if you know what I mean. So they completely backed out. So we had to find a new place to live. We got a call on the Wednesday night, and then Thursday we looked for houses and didn't really see much. Friday we looked for houses, and then also packed to go to Oxford for the weekend, which is like maybe like an hour and 15 minutes away from me, because I did a bit of filming. I can tell you soon. So I'm gonna be on the TV. Yeah, so we had to go there for 2 days. And then Friday before we left, we were staying at my mother-in-law's house. Friday before we left for Oxford, like as we were walking out the door, my mother-in-law got a phone call saying, hi, can you move out of your house in 7 days? Because the people who are buying it want to move in. We were like, oh, sorry, I've just got a knot. I'm not just like stopping to pause. So that was like, okay, that's good. So David dropped me off and then drove all the way back and helped his mom pack the whole house. Then we did the Oxford thing. I did for 2 days. And then on Monday, we saw a couple more houses. And then on Tuesday, we left to come to America. So that was the summer. And I think it was like 5:30 at night on the Monday. We saw this house and we called like immediately and we were like, hi, this is the circumstances. Can we please just see your house? And they were like, yes, our buyers just did the exact same thing. We were meant to complete on Wednesday and they pulled out. So they had a house that they were going to move into. And they even had like a family home in Italy that they were like living in, and had them come all the way home to see this house again. And then when they saw it for like the third time, I think it was, they were like, yeah, we don't want it anymore. And they were meant to like finish, like own the house, like move in on like the Wednesday, and it was Monday. So yeah, that's just one of like a million things that happened over the summer that I was like, okay, we're gonna do this, are we? So yeah, then we came back and we stayed with my mother-in-law at her new apartment, her new flat, for a week, and then we moved in here. So we've been here kind of like fixing it a little bit, painting some things, trying to make a little baby room and make a room for Miles, trying to find a room for all of my stuff. There we go. We did one sugar cookie. It took about 30 minutes. So please do not stress about this. Please do not feel like you have to have this finished. Like today's Wednesday and you have to be finished by tomorrow. Okay? Please don't do that, because you're going to stress yourself out. It's too much. Okay? Do a little bit here and there. Do it when you can. All right? And like leave it at that, because you really don't need to be rushing around and trying to finish this in 2 weeks. It's not going to happen. Okay? I mean, unless you're just like at home and you're bored and you're like, okay, I just want to get it done. Like I want to have the joy and do some stitching. That's totally fine. You can. If you want to and you have the time, but please don't stress out and think, oh, I have to finish this. Because she's going to start the next bit tomorrow and then I'm going to be behind. You're not behind, okay? You're not behind. You'll be fine. Do it whenever you feel like it. I'm also making some little cheat sheet posts. I'm just trying to see how I can make them look nice on the grid, because Instagram hates posts like that. They really do. You know, like anything with writing on it, you know, they're kind of like, oh. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you this one. And you can do a little screenshot if you want to. I'll post this on my grid as well. Just like an up-close picture of this, just so that you can see like the pattern. I don't know if you can tell what I'm talking about here. But basically, we go around, okay? Around like this, the outside. Okay, so the second row, around, around. This one right here goes straight and then straight, around, straight, around, straight, around, okay? Until I get to about the middle, and then it starts to kind of go in a circle. All the way around in a circle, okay? If you feel like that's too difficult, I don't want to do that, you can always just do like a back and forth thing. Fill it in straight across and be done. Or you can do a couple rows of all the way around and then change it to just up and down if you want to. All right? I only did it this way because that's just the way that it naturally kind of went around. And I was like, oh, okay, that looks really nice. That looks good. I'm going to leave it like that. The other thing you can do, if you're still like, nope, not doing that, that's too much work and it's too much stitching, it's going to take too long. It's probably going to take a good 45 minutes to do this one, I'm not going to lie, because the split stitch takes longer than the satin stitch. You can always do one outline, fill it in with a white, like white icing, you know, and then put these little details over top if you want to. And they don't have to be zigzags, all right? You can see in the pattern, they were all meant to be zigzags, and I changed it to a straight stitch on the bottom part and the little top of the hands, okay? So don't be afraid to change it if it just doesn't make sense for you, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. So, I've got a little knot already. I'll do just a couple little go-arounds. The other thing that you can do is you can mark these kind of out with your pen before you get started. Okay. I know, it looks crazy. It looks absolutely wild. But it kind of helps you to see like where these would be. Okay. Okay. So let's just do a little bit, like maybe 10 minutes. And then, again, I'll love you and leave you so that you can crack on with your Wednesday night. And it doesn't matter where you start here because you're going to end up doing all of it. You're going to end up filling in all of it. So it really doesn't matter. And like I said, you can either do the dark brown first. That's also 3 strands. It might be 2 strands, actually. Let me just check. Because it's like really, really deep. I feel like I probably did that first, if I'm being honest. Because I can see on the back, all of these go on top. The light brown goes on top of the dark brown, which means I probably did the dark brown first. So let's just pick up a little bit of the bottom and see how many strands. I think it's just 2. 2 strands. So we've got, hello, why is that blurry? So we've got 3 strands for the light brown, 2 strands for the details. And those are all backstitch, all of those. And we've already done that. So a nice, easy peasy stitch. I do love an easy backstitch, you know, when you're just like, I don't have to think about it. So there we go. Round and around, get your backstitch on, and then you'll be done. So yeah, have you any questions about any of this? I have to go. Have a great day. I'm babysitting. Enjoy. Enjoy, enjoy. Talk soon, of course. And like I said, you can always ask in the question box at the bottom, the little comment box. Or if you think I don't want to do that, then you can just DM me and I will reply. there's always that. He's cute, isn't he? Little gingerbread man. You can always make him all the dark color brown as well if you wanted to. It gives it a bit more of like a gingerbread, like an actual gingerbread man color, isn't it? Like a bit darker gingerbread. I don't think I've ever like made like traditional gingerbread. You know? I've made like ginger cookies, but they are not like gingerbread. You know what I mean? They're not like the hard, crispy, like what you would think gingerbread would be like. We just have a cookie cutter at home that looks like this, which is why I picked these shapes. Paula Deen has the best recipe for them. Oh, do they come out like hard and crispy, or are they like a bit softer? Because I feel like I would like them a bit softer. I feel like, I know they're not really meant to be, right? So here we go. I've done a little mistake, and you can see what it is. Let's see if you can tell what it is. I'll zoom it in. Can you tell? Do you see my little mistake? So the mistake is I've made around this curve my stitches bigger and bigger and bigger, which I always tend to do. But I've made them bigger and bigger and bigger, whereas here they were a little bit smaller, okay? So it gave that nice, like, tight curve. Same with here. But these ones right here, they start to kind of cut off. See how you can see it goes like straight, straight, straight. So if I put my needle down right here, it wouldn't be like a nice curve. It would be more like this. All right. So a way that you can fix this without unpicking your thread and restitching it is you can take your needle, put it in the middle of your threads, and drag it over just a little bit. Okay, so instead of going straight down like this, you're just going to drag it over a little bit more. Like that. Have I got a knot back here? I do, but I feel like it's just, there's no time for this. Okay, and then the next one I'm going to make a little bit smaller. And then do the same thing, kind of just drag this over a little bit. Just to like get it back on track. So it's not like 3 or 4 big straight stitches like that. Doesn't this look like some kind of weird voodoo thing? Soft inside. Oh, I make mine soft. Okay. So they don't have to be like hard. See if I can do this through the camera. Normally, I look at it. Oh, wow, that's trippy. Normally, I look at it on the side, you know? Like, I kind of stand to the side so I can, like, see the actual thread and the actual fabric. But doing it, like, through the camera is weird. Okay, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go now. Actually, I thought I was going to have to tell you bad news already on the second day, but I couldn't get the day 2 video to download all night last night, and finally I just went to bed because I was like, I'll just do it tomorrow, because you have 30 days to do it, and then they disappear. And so I was like, okay, I'll try today. And it did it. I was so happy. So that will go up tonight. Whilst I'm having my black cherry and vanilla squash. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Again, please do not, please do not try and do all of these in one day if you don't have time, if you have other commitments. Just don't. And the reason is because I do not want to stress anyone out. I do not need anyone stressing out about trying to finish this, okay? Do it in your own time. Do it next week. Do it in 3 weeks. Do it the day before Christmas. It doesn't matter, all right? It doesn't have to be done at the end of the 2 weeks, okay? I hope I've made that clear, because every single time I get someone who's freaking out, messaging me saying, oh my gosh, I'm so behind. I'm so sorry. What do we do on this day? Or what do we... No. Just calm down. If you're stressing out, then it's the opposite of what we're trying to achieve here. We're trying to relax. We're trying to chill. Okay? So think about that. Keep that in mind. All right. That's me off. We've done 3 strands of satin stitch, 3 strands of split stitch for around each of the cookies. And then for the gingerbread man's small details, it's 2 strands of the dark brown thread color. Okay, and that will be a back stitch. So should be quite simple. It will just take a little bit of time. All right, enjoy. I cannot wait to see what you do with yours, and I'll speak with you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Bye.